Charles, sir, are you going to use any presentation aid like PPT?
No.
Okay, sir, fine. Okay. Dear participants, I request you all to mute your audio so that it could facilitate the presenter and it will your audio, please. Thank you. Mr. Charles, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we could start. Okay. Good morning to one and all virtually present here for the day 2, session 2 on outcome-based education industry perspective. Here we have Mr. Charles Godwin, HR leader, Zoho Corporation, Chennai. He is an astute human resource professional with 15 plus years in depth experience in the entire gamut of people, programs, and processes from renowned IT industry. He has extensive exposure to manage changing during acquisitions and mergers, building capabilities and talent during high growth phases, executing apt HR interventions. He is specialized in talent acquisition and retention, talent management, talent engagement, talent development, employee relations, early interventions, compensation management, performance management, administration of practices, employee discipline, employee welfare, and branding. He is a prominent speaker in student and industry forums and has delivered over 1,000 guest lectures speaking to young minds. It is an immense pleasure for me to welcome you, sir. Now the session is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very good morning to one and all who are here this morning through this virtual platform, and special thanks to Dr. Vanitha ma'am for having me here. Today I'm not going to share any presentation, meaning no PPT, but I would practically, I would like to share some of the practical experiences, in the recent times, and so I'm sure we can have interactive session to to help each other, and also I'm looking forward to learn from you, yes, from the participants as well. So before getting in, I'm sure everyone has so much question about how industry is currently and how industry will be and how our education system will be, and so on. But irrespective of whatever the situation is, the opportunities and the scope for every industry to grow, that's very, very, positive sign which I'm looking at. To be very specific about, IT industry, because I represent the IT product base. If you look at IT, yes, we have been, doing reasonably well, even during this tough time. Right from March, even though we have been working from home, definitely the scope and the opportunities, are very, very open, and we are definitely looking forward for good, opportunities in the coming years. Meaning, definitely the opportunity for freshers, especially, will be opened up. That's what I look for forward, and that's how every industry leaders have been sharing their views in the last couple of weeks, and especially in the last 2 months, I would say. And the reason, if you look at the overall perspective of this pandemic season, I see like this. Every industry had their own challenges every 4 years or 5 years, because a pandemic season for a particular industry was very, very common. For example, 15 years back, when I was in the initial stage of my professional journey, after joining the company, within 6 months or 9 months, I heard a word called recession in my first time. And when I look back today, every industry, has a cycle between the period of, on an average, 4 to 5 years. Maybe, for example, 2018 and 2019, we would have heard about automobile industry was not doing well. The previous year, we would have heard about civil industry or infrastructure was not doing well. The year before, we would have heard about IT industry was not doing well, and the same way the other industries as well. So when we closely look at India's growth or Tamil Nadu's growth, definitely every industry had grown extremely well in the last 5 to 10 years. So that's the positive message we as faculties, we have to share this with our students, because they don't have any, even a fourth year or a third year or especially a final year student, has so many questions, about how the future will be, how their life would be, how step out from the college, even for a first year kid as well. So it is very, very important that to share the current industry situation with the students, because in the last 2-3 months, if you look at, so many campus hiring have started up, maybe in the virtual platform, but maybe we still have the challenge of meeting students face to face. Definitely mass recruitment drives have opened up. So with this positive note, I would like to get into the core theme for the learning, outcome-based learning. So I look at two perspectives in this particular theme. When we look at, as faculties, maybe we might be a very junior faculty in the organization where immediately we can't bring in a change overnight or within a short period, within by our own self. But there are few things where we look for support from our peer faculty as well, and especially from the management too. Without management support and without faculty support and without university support system, it's very, very difficult to bring in a transformation or bring in a change in the teaching. And number two, within our scope, each faculties definitely can bring in small differences in our regular routine. So we have to look at now for a long run now how we can bring in a change as an organization, meaning as an institute, along with the help of management and the other faculties as well, how we can bring in a change, and as an individual, how I can bring in a change, within the within the closed classroom with about 40 students or 50 students. And I would like to, before getting in, I would like to share, the real-time experience which we have in our organization. I'm sure many of you would be aware of our corporation, and I represent the company. And so it's a 25-year-old company today, worldwide known. A small dream of our CEO, build a product and spread the product to the entire world. And 25 years back, when he traveled to different parts of the world, he found many products which were made in China, made in USA, made in Germany, made in Japan, and so on. He couldn't, which was made in India. That was a small, thought or small dream which, or aspiration he had. And today, a product has been built, over these years. And today, closely about 60 plus million users, we have, who are using worldwide. So this is how an organization has grown. And in this organization, we have an important initiative called Zoho Schools of Learning. I'm sure many would be aware of that. Earlier, we used to call that as Zoho University. This is not affiliated to any, a recognized institute, but this is an in-house learning program as part of Zoho organization, and purely catering for Zoho's need. About 15 years back, our CEO felt that students who come out from the college across, not just here in our state, but across the country, students are having so much of challenge to adapt to the industry need as a fresher. And so he felt like, why don't we give experiential learning with some context and relevance to the current industry. For example, now today, especially being in IT industry, every 6 months or 1 year, we see new technology coming in, and we really have so much of question that now should I learn AI, should I learn Python, or should I learn machine learning, and should I learn something which is coming up new tomorrow, right? So, the industry expectation and the speed of change in the industry across different domains, and especially in technology industry, if you look at. And so he felt, our CEO felt that, now why don't we have an in-house learning academy and bring in a different. So we started up in a small way 15 years back. And this was the pure objective. Three areas which was the primary mission towards starting this, bringing or giving contextual learning for kids. And there, and in the same classroom, we have a bunch of last bench students, where we are really concerned about. And maybe they might be casual, but how much we as faculty members, we cater to all these three different types of people whom we have in front of us. So this is how a formula which I feel which will work out, because I'm a last bench student. I was a last bench student throughout my schooling, and this is how my career graph has grown. Meaning, till 10th, I didn't have any clue about why I went again, for my parents' sake, and slowly started progressing. I joined my college, and without my own interest, and just because of my dad's choice. Only during my final year, I realized, yes, one faculty, was very, very influential in terms of just motivating me, even though I was very, very poor in my academics, but he found what I am good at. And he started spending time and giving opportunities for me to focus on the extracurricular activities, meaning the internships, projects, and the other cultural or the other club activities in the institute. And slowly I started showing interest towards that, and parallelly started focusing on my regular core, syllabus and the curriculum as well. So, and when I joined my post-graduation, I was able to balance between these two, the learning which I had inside the classroom and the learning which I had outside the classroom. So this is the 50-50 model which explore with our kids. Today, that's what industry is looking for. Definitely, now industry is looking for people who have a context to the current industry need, and who will be able to relate, who have an experience or at least an exposure towards what is happening in their respective field, respective industry. And I would insist now, the first important expectation from any student, now how faculties can help them in enabling them to have a very successful career. Because today in this, I would strongly say that institutions are not preparing students just to face their first level or first interview when they step out of their college. Institution is preparing kids. Institution is engineers or students from any specific domain for their lifelong interview. It is easy for an institute to organize and give a platform for every kid to get through in their campus interview. But what happens after 3 years? What happens after 2 years? Today, on an average, if we look at a fresher who joins the organization, I'm talking about across industry and especially in IT, if you look at a fresher who joins the organization, be with the organization for an average of 1 or 2 years. Wherein 3 years back or 5 years back, if we look at now, we were able to see freshers with the organization for minimum 3 years, 2 years or 3 years or even 5 years. So it is very, very important where our students should have very much experience or exposure through their internship and projects. That's where students can bring in a lot of difference when they get into the company for their interview, or when they get into their company for any of their opportunities. So as faculties, we should always give that exposure. We should always give that perspective to the students, so that they are much familiar about the different opportunities which are available in front of them. Meaning, I would say, for example, if you are if a student is from mechanical engineering background, I would say, why not this particular kid do internship or project in different sector? The same student can do internship and project in a civil and logistics company, or a supply chain organization, or an IT industry, or a hospitality industry, or a service industry, so that the student can get much exposure and see how they can fit into a particular industry. Today, we always see a EEE student getting into a manufacturing company. So it's more of how much we as faculties can give exposure and awareness to our kids is very, very important. So before that, we as faculties, how much we can get an exposure towards what is happening in the industry. That's very, very important. As faculties, how we can connect with industry people across different industry and bring in a real exposure for our kids. Maybe today students are looking for real inspiring stories whom we can relate with. Maybe we can talk stories about our alumni who have passed out from the same college, from the same classroom. We can share their experience so that they'll be able to connect with what exactly the career path is available in front of them. Or maybe our friends might be working in different organizations. How we can share some real inspiring stories to understand what are the different opportunities which are available. How our friends have been successful in different industry in their respective domain and so on. So these exposure will help our kids to have an understanding. Today, the biggest challenge which we see, from our kids are, they lack exposure. Maybe students who are away, students who are in a metro city like Chennai, maybe because of the opportunities of the, which are available in front of them, maybe they can get into, they can learn, they can easily get exposure without even insisting from our college or from the classroom. But think about an institution which is in a small city, like Metupalayam or Avinashi or Namakkal or so on. The access which a metro city kid is having, maybe a small city kid will not have. So how we can leverage, especially when we are in this virtual world, especially when we are connected through this virtual platform. Today we have a lot of opportunity and scope to give that exposure to our kids. Today, many organizations are providing virtual internships. Today, many organizations are providing virtual project opportunities for our kids. So that's very, very important. So what the kid, what students can learn outside, that's very, very important, which helps them to understand what life is all about, what opportunities are all about. Just to give a best example about my experience, when I was doing my 5 years of my college, as I said, the best investment I have given as part of the extracurricular activities. Out of 5 years of my college, I was able to get exposure in closely about 18 plus different organizations. I've been to IT, I've been to hospitality industry, I've been to government organization, I've been to manufacturing, service, NGO, and so on. And then I decided that, yes, this is my strength. This is my interest. I can get into this particular industry, which will suit me, which will suit my nature, which will suit my interest, which will suit my strength. Because for a kid, for anybody, it is always important that we need to work on our strength. So how we help our kids, how we help our students to identify their strength and bring in a difference in their respective one dream. So as faculties, how we can help our kids for them to list down, because today when I look back, when I was doing my third year of my college, I didn't know what I'm good at. I started thinking only because one of my senior asked this question, Charles, what is next? What are you going to do after this final year of your graduation? Only then I realized, yes, I have to answer to my family, I have to answer to my friends, I have to answer to my society and so on. And then started reflecting about what I'm good at, what I can do, and what are the opportunities which are available. And then, really start bringing some meaning for my personal life or for my professional journey and so on. So this is what the challenge which I see. Students lack exposure. As faculty members, how we can create these platforms beyond our curriculum, beyond our syllabus, is the need of the hour for our students to get inspired, to get explored, and bring in a difference for their own respective field, for their own respective career. As I said earlier, now it is time for us to bring in a difference. Now we don't need to think something very big, which we need, where we need to seek approval for our management. We need to seek and convince our management or the other faculty members, across the institute. As faculty members, now I strongly believe that we can start somewhere with some small baby steps. Today in this world, this is the best classic example. This is the best lesson which we can learn. As I said earlier, if we can create our kids to be responsible for their own self, that is the best outcome which we can see after 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from our kids, from our students. In every session, especially during this COVID season, I always share this. Students should realize that life is not a race, life is a journey. Opportunities are plenty. Everyone will have opportunity. Providing awareness, sharing some real time experiences with our kids, which will help them to have an understanding, to have a contextual learning, to have relevant learning, to have a experiential learning. This will help our kids to face tomorrow what is in front of them, whatever which we see as an unexpected situations, even during this tough time. Thank you so much for listening. Maybe I know if we have an interactive session, so I think we still have time. I'll be really happy. Or maybe if you have any thoughts, you can feel free to share, because today we are not here to just listen from one person. We are here to learn from each other, because that will really help us to learn, grow together.
Mr. Charles.
Yes, sir.
Could you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It was so amazing to hear words from you people, because as a faculty member, whatever we think we could not bring into light sometimes, but people like you who are in industry very well versed about connecting students to the industry could know better than us, because we mostly focus on theories and other parts, but when it comes to industry, you people put them into industry and you make them work and you understand them and you bring out the best from them, I hope. And the way you engage this session, we could come to know that it doesn't mean what the student score or how knowledgeable he is. Do something in the market or into the industry. It is apart from what is educated. It is upon handling that particular situation. It doesn't need any specific textbook knowledge. When some situation occurs, he or she need to react instantly to solve that particular problem. And we also insist the same thing to the students. And I think they will very soon become like that, whatever we expect. And I could add one of the important skills, what you have like collaborative or peer learning, logical skill, analytical skill, writing skill, and public speaking skill. What we lack nowadays from student is memory. Especially